You wake up one morning and you have enough money to buy the best footballer on the planet. 200 million euros. One signature, one press conference, a star holding up a shirt with your club's badge behind him. This is the highest status money can buy in football, and it is nowhere near as good as you think it is. Because when you look at your club's accounts, that player doesn't appear as an asset, he appears as a melting asset. When you pay those 200 million euros, the money doesn't leave once. It gets split across 5 years, and it eats into your balance sheet, every single one of them. It eats when he's injured, it eats when he loses form, it eats when he decides he hates you and wants out. And in this video, I'm going to show you something. The most expensive transfer in football history didn't destroy the club that paid the money. It destroyed the club that pocketed it. Start with the entry levels, because there are 3 doors into this market, and all 3 open onto a different trap. But behind the 3rd door is something you won't be expecting. The first door is free. The academy. You take a boy at 7 years old, and for 11 years you feed him, train him, house him, transfer fee, €0. And in the club's books, his registered value is also 0. Lamine Yamal is exactly this. Barcelona never paid a transfer fee for him. But an academy burns millions every year, and fewer than 1% of those boys ever reach the first team. This isn't an investment, it's a lottery ticket. The second door is the mid-market, somewhere between 40 and 80 million euros. A proven 25-year-old who knows the league. Low risk here and low return. Nobody buys a shirt because of this player. The third door is 200 million euros, and at this point you are no longer buying a footballer, you are buying a corporate liability. Clubs that walk through this door rarely come out the same way. Now let me explain the mechanism, because the real trick is hiding right here. When you pay 200 million euros for a player, that figure is not written into that year's expenses, it gets divided across the length of the contract. 5-year deal, 40 million euros a year. This is called amortisation, and it is the most dangerous line in football accounting. Think of it like this. You took out a 5-year loan and bought a house. Except this house can break its own leg, and when it does, you keep paying the installments. Which brings us to the second term, net book value. At the end of year 2, that player's value in your books isn't 200 million, it's 120 million. Sell him for 100 million and you haven't made a profit. You've booked a 20 million euro loss. The press writes, sold for 100 million. You write a minus sign. And now, the most counterintuitive fact in this entire business. A player who comes out of your academy has a book value of 0, which means when you sell him for 40 million euros, all 40 million is recorded as pure profit. Nothing is deducted. So here's what that actually means. Selling your own kid for 40 million is more profitable on paper than selling your 200 million euro superstar for 100 million. The mathematics of football rewards raising children, not buying stars. But no president ever won an election by raising children. So why does everyone still pay the 200 million? Because the contract is designed as a trap. The number announced to the press is the transfer fee, but the real invoice isn't there. There's a signing bonus, a loyalty bonus, image rights, agent commission, and sitting above all of it, wages. Mbappé is exactly this case. A player can arrive at your club for a transfer fee of 0 and still become the most expensive signature in your history, because a transfer fee happens once. Wages repeat every single month. Then there's the release clause, the kind written into Haaland's contract. The moment you put that clause in, you are no longer the one setting your player's price. The contract sets it, and on the day that number gets triggered, there is no negotiating table anymore. So how do you sell this back to yourself? Shirt sales. This man sells shirts is the most repeated lie in the history of football, because most of the money from a shirt goes to the manufacturer, a slice goes to the retailer, and another slice goes to the player's image rights cut. What's left for the club doesn't even cover 1 year of that transfer's amortization. Now let's look at what this actually does in the real world. Two cases. August 2017. Paris Saint-Germain paid the €222 million release clause in Neymar's contract in cash. The biggest transfer in history. UEFA opened an investigation the same year, but PSG weren't the ones who collapsed. Barcelona took that money and panicked. Trying to replace Neymar, they spent a total of €307 million on 6 players across a single summer and winter. Coutinho's fee rose to €160 million with bonuses, Dembele's to 148. Coutinho made 106 appearances in 3.5 seasons before leaving for Aston Villa in 2022 for around €20 million. Dembele missed over 100 matches through injury. Barcelona earned €222 million and used it to buy their own financial crisis. That is a capital structure collapse, cash in hand, mistaken for solvency. The second case is the other end of the same transfer. PSG paid €222 million. And what did they get? Injuries, a strained relationship, and a Champions League trophy that never arrived. Neymar left for Al Hilal in 2023. Most analysts still class the deal as a commercial failure. That's the second type of failure. The product was right, the environment was wrong. You bought the most gifted player on earth and never built the structure to carry him. The equation is simple. You are not buying a footballer, you are buying a 5-year, uninsured debt instrument that is capable of devaluing itself. UEFA now caps what clubs can spend on wages, transfers, and agent fees at 70% of their revenue, which means the real margin a club makes on player trading is thin even when it's run well. Run badly, it's negative. So who actually solved this system? Real Madrid, 2009. They paid €94 million for Cristiano Ronaldo. He scored 450 goals in 438 games and won 4 Champions Leagues. The difference was this. They didn't pay for a star. They paid for a 9-year revenue engine. Here's where it lands. This system was built for the man selling the player, not the man buying him. You never own a €200 million footballer. You lease him for 5 years, and you pay the interest out of your own balance sheet. The one who owns him is always the agent. So tell me in the comments, which €200 million signing was the worst business decision ever made? And if you want to see how the rest of football's money actually moves, subscribe. Next time we open a different door.